Y'all know the class days and times are not deviated. We got another school out in um, San Antonio, Sword of Truth. We got other S.O.Ws out in Virginia and in Rochester. So be sure to tune into the brothers out there. Very good teachers, very good classes. We do have. Wait, is all this? No, this is over.
Really disrespecting me during class.
Yeah. So yeah, we got Mashaba's still doing the podcast on Podbean. We got all the different YouTube channels. You know, the Israelite Media Corp,
I gotta take this real quick.
the Israelite Media Corp, the Hidden Truth Bible Show, um, 5 Minutes of Wisdom, and then we got all the different YouTube streams. Like we got the Houston stream, we got the Rochester stream, and we got the Virginia stream, and then San Antonio they got a stream too. So
Yeah, there's nobody.
whatever you can catch, you can get class 7 days a week, basically 6. And if you include your shorts, then that makes it 7, right? You know, we got brothers doing lots of good shorts, lots of good videos. Check them out. Let's make it go viral. Leave comments and like them and share them. All right. What else is going on? Israelware, you're taking orders. You know, if you want to get something biblical, decal or something like that, you know, we got you on that. So hit the sisters at Israelware. Chosen Creation, let's get Chosen Creation popping. Good woodwork, metalwork, custom items. So chosencreation.com. You can get something customized. You need to reach and we do have Hebrew Academy here in Houston on Tuesdays, Hebrew Academy in Rochester, Virginia on Mondays. If you need to reach a priest or teacher, text only during class. You can text or call Priest Kazakia at 757-300-4047 or Priest Quatazap at 303-557-8979 or Priest Zainala at 346-234-8340. If you want to give any alms or donations to help out the school, help out the camp, if you made a vow, you know, you can drop that into the Wells Fargo account, or you can sell it. You know, just hit up a priest, and they'll give you a good number on how to Zelle or send those funds. All right. We got a business, Sweet Ambiance, sweetambiance.com. Check it out. I know y'all like smelling good. You know, we try to keep our people smelling righteous out here. You know, we work hard at this. You know, the art of apothecary. You know, blending and mixing oils together for a certain outcome. You know, we do this. We active in this. Brothers' elbows be dripping with oil, and it's not because we sloppy eaters. We dripping with oils because we put our hands to the plow. We working these oils. So check us out, sweetambiance.com. And that's it for the announcements.
Hopefully everybody's doing good in class online. Hopefully everybody's doing good. It's Wednesday, halfway through the week, right? I did say we were going to do this part 2 to last week's class. So y'all see the title. Y'all see the title, right? What was the title again? Blessed to be blessed. Blessed to be a blessing, the power of biblical hospitality. So last week we spoke about the different key elements of hospitality, right? Right. So who could go to their notes real quick, or who could actually, off the top of their dome, either way, remember the points. What were the elements? First of all, what's the definition? Who got the definition of of hospitality? Let's start there. Who got their notes, or who remembers the definition that was given? Come on, who got it?
In the 1828,
Okay.
hospitality, the act or practice of receiving and entertaining strangers or guests without reward, or with kind and generous liberality.
Okay. Who got the definition that I gave last week? Okay, I'll give it to y'all again. Hospitality is the generous. Hospitality is the generous and friendly reception and treatment of guests. Let me know when I can keep going.
Can you repeat that?
Hospitality is the generous and friendly reception and treatment of guests, visitors, or strangers. Let me know when I can keep going. There's more.
Okay.
I keep going? It involves a willingness to offer comfort food, shelter, and emotional warmth. Often going beyond basic duty or obligation. Can I keep going? True hospitality is marked by kindness, openness, and a selfless desire to serve, and make others feel welcomed and cared for. True hospitality is marked by kindness, openness, and a selfless desire to serve and to make others feel welcomed and cared for. So that's the definition. That definition is important because it went into the class last week. For those that were here, for those that watched online, there were some key points that we touched on in the definition. So last week's class was focused on the person that was performing the hospitality, how they should be, why it was important, and we went over some key things like what was the first key point of why hospitality is important? What did we touch?
We started with the cultural and spiritual values of it.
Right, so we went into that. First of all, it's part of our culture. First and foremost, it's part of our culture, and it's a part of our spiritual values and moral values, and we can see that from the law, right? You can go into books like Leviticus 25. You go into different books in Deuteronomy where it teaches you about being hospitable to a brother or sister that's fallen into a bad situation, financially, mentally, physically. We're supposed to restore. Galatians 6 tells us to restore in the spirit of meekness. So we see that that's part of our culture because the law is our culture, right? That's what gives us our culture. What was the next one? So after we understood that it's part of our culture, then the person performing the hospitality, their first task is to do what? Provide a warm welcome. What's the next part? After the warm welcome, what's the next part that they do?
Things that they need. I don't know if I missed the point before that, but next I have things that they need.
Right, provision of needs, right? What was the next part?
Genuine concern.
Right, genuine concern, and then what?
I don't have anything else after that.
Right, the last part was services orientated, meaning, now that I've welcomed them with a warm welcome, now that I've provided the basic provisions, the shelter, the food, the drink, the comfort, the AC, whatever it is, right? And once I'm supposed to have that genuine concern, services orientated is going into now a direct care for that person as far as like tailoring the hospitality to their direct needs, right? Trying to make the accommodation fit the person, right?
Okay.
So that we focused on that with the person that's performing the hospitality. So today we're going to focus on how is the person that's receiving the performance of hospitality, how are they supposed to be? How are they supposed to receive what's being given? Right? How is the person receiving the hospitality supposed to posture themselves? In what manner do they carry themselves to show that hospitality is not being taken for granted? So that's what we're gonna focus on today. Con? Y'all ready?
Sure.
Okay. You gotta forgive me, my groin is hurting a little bit in these chairs, so I'm moving around. I might even stand. So just forgive me, I'm just letting y'all know. The pressure, there'd be a lot of pressure sitting down. So what is the first thing that you think, like, where should the person's mind that's receiving the hospitality, what mind state should they be in? What? Yashimar.
A mindset of humility.
Okay, it's perfect. What else? Humility. What else? I don't think any answer is gonna be wrong.
Being considerate of their needs as well.
When you say being considerate of their needs, you're talking about being considerate of the person that's giving?
Yeah, like as far as what else they need, it's not just all about them. They gotta, it's
Right,
their house
so-
too, so you gotta be considerate.
Right. Okay. See, I like that. What else? So we talked about, we got humility on the table. We got the person that's receiving the hospitality. They also have a job to be considerate of the person that's being considerate of them. Right. So there's like a consideration, like a 360 consideration. Right. What else? Y'all actually got two of the points so far. Well, but then.
How else, like, you being there could be an asset to their house?
Right, okay, that's crazy, because that's another point. What else? Y'all got 3 points. I'm just gonna let y'all get the points, and we just gonna talk about them. What else? You got your hand up.
I was gonna say this.
Oh, okay. Anybody else?
Could we add, they gotta come with a level of respect? Could we have respect? Yeah.
We can definitely have respect, which
You gotta be respectful.
is kind of going into one of my points, so. We can just close the book, go home. Nah, we got it, we in
Yeah,
there.
we understand.
We understand, Shalom, right? No, those are some good answers. So the first thing, yeah, there has to be a humble mind. There has to be a level of gratitude when you receive anything. It's not just hospitality, but
Right.
anything that you receive, you have to be grateful. right? Because too often, what happens is the scriptures say a man's trial is in his reasoning. And you'll go through your trial of your faith because of your bad mistakes, because of your bad logic, because of your bad way of reasoning through things, because of your lack of understanding, and then you get put in a situation because of those things. And then what do you do? And then what do you do? When you get brought into a lower state, then what do you do? You complain.
Can you read it?
You complain. You complain. So you put yourself in a situation that is bad because of your logic and because of your understanding. And then once you're put in that situation, you complain about the situation that you're in. But if you're not in a mind of gratitude, that's what'll happen. But if your mind is understanding why you're in certain situations and what the Most High is trying to work out in you and what He's trying to show you, you'll be grateful because you'll see that, wait a minute, even though I'm being lowered in my estate, whether it be financially, whether it be household, you know, I gotta move in with a person, or I don't have a vehicle, or whatever it may be, right? The point is you still have somebody willing to supply that for you on a different level. It may not be your own, but someone is willing to extend that olive branch and kind of give you what they have, right? So there gotta be a gratitude for that there's a higher power looking out for you. Right? So let's go to first of all, let's go to 1 Thessalonians 5:18. Did you have anything? Okay, well, if anything pops in your mind, you know.
Yes, sir.
So the first point is going to be receive, basically, it was just a question. How does the person receiving hospitality, how are they supposed to be in receiving this hospitality? So the first point is receive hospitality with gratitude and humility, right? 1 Thessalonians 5:18 is the first scripture.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 18.
Go ahead.
In everything give thanks.
Stop right there. It said, in everything give thanks. So when I'm brought to a lower state, I gotta give thanks because it could be lower. It could be worse. Right? I could be in a worse situation, so I do gotta give thanks to the Most High and acknowledge that the Most High has people around me that's able to supply the needs that I need, the need and my wants, right? They're able to supply these things, and it's not for me to complain. It's not for me to be bitter. It's not for me to be prideful. It's not for me to be angry. A lot of the times, we make moves in our lives and then we get angry at the move we make because of the result. And in that anger, what do? You complain. You lose faith.
Make the wrong decision.
You do what?
Make the wrong decision.
You make more wrong decisions, right? In that anger. Oh, I'm a revenge. You're gonna get revenge on the bad decisions.
Yeah.
Right?
But the problem with that is getting the revenge on the bad decision is you're revenging on the person that is being hospitable to you.
Right. You'll take it out on the nearest person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a condition that we're just kind of predisposed to as humans, where we want to lash out in anger or in pride or in hurt that we're going through. We want to lash out and make somebody else really feel what we're going through. Like, you don't understand me until you feel what I'm going through, so I want to bring you to my level. But the whole point of you being in your situation of needing these high levels of hospitality is because you need to learn what that person has to offer. They don't gotta learn what you're going through. They're not going through it. You need to learn how to not be in those situations.
Uh,
You had your hand up, Yashikar.
yeah, a couple days ago, a 21-year-old killed one of his roommates because he was staying at their house for free and they asked him to pay rent. So he killed him, killed an 18-year-old roommate.
Wow.
Oh,
And
that's
there was
crazy.
another story of this female.
There gotta be more to that. Go ahead.
Definitely.
That's crazy.
That was the headline.
Right.
Just as what I brought out, just on that example, that was the headline. That was, the allegations.
Mhm.
And then there was another one. This female was staying at this property for 18 months, not paying rent. And then when they went to go ask her to pay rent, she blew up. She raged out. She crashed out. She was like, if it was such an issue, why did they tell me nothing? Now y'all
Right.
expecting me to pay. And I'm just bringing up just a point on rent, but we're talking about the way these people need to act or behave or the spirit they need to be in when they're receiving hospitality. Because, no one has to do it. But these
Wait, say
people-
that one more time?
No one has to do it.
Say the whole sentence.
So I brought up these two examples on rent, but the point of me bringing it up is just on what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's these people are in these situations needing help, right?
Mhm.
And the people that are offering the help, they don't have to do it.
Right, so the reason why I had you repeat that, Abadiah asked a question. What if the person receiving the hospitality expects it to be given? Meaning, like they expect this of others because we are in the truth. Well, see, that goes two ways. Are you expecting it in pride, like they gotta help me, right? Like they gotta do this, or are you expecting it in humility? It's all about how your mind is set up. Because yeah, we should expect certain things from each other. We should expect hospitality from each other. We should expect courtesy and brotherhood and charity from one another. We should expect that. I expect it from y'all. I expect that if I go to your house, you're gonna be hospitable. I expect that when you come to my house, you're gonna expect me to be hospitable. We should have expectations of each other. But it shouldn't be in a level of like pride, like I'm owed something. Because that's where you get messed up at. You ain't owed nothing. Right? You're not owed nothing. And then what happens is when you feel like you're owed something and you do get the thing that the person has to offer, but it's not to your standard or it's not to your liking. They gave you a bed, but you don't like the way the mattress feels, and then now you complaining. Oh, you'd be surprised.
Right.
Brother give you a whole house to live in and you complain because he's on a fast and he didn't go grocery shopping for your liking. Right? The brother complained because there was no meat in the house. So what was it? What was it?
Nah, he was vegan. He was doing the vegan
Oh,
thing.
he was vegan and he was a meat eater. He eats meat. And the brother that was staying with him was a vegan. He was upset because he didn't have vegan friendly food in the house.
Yeah.
It's like, go get your own food, nigga. Like,
But then here's the funny part. Then he would spend all his money on vegan stuff, and he'll blow through his whole check in like a few days. And then after he's through his check and he's blow through his vegan stuff,
right in the
now he a meat eater
Yeah,
again.
he right up in the fridge eating bologna. He right up in the fridge eating steak.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let me get some of that. Hey, can I get some of that?
Yeah. Is it from pride perspective? The person says you're supposed to do this. It's your job to be hospitable. Well, see that, and that's why I'm going over this because it's a reciprocal thing. It's not an because people that say, "Oh, you're supposed to do this," you know what they're not. What you know what they're willing to not do, or what they're never ready to do. What are they never ready to do? The ones that feel like they're owed something, what are they ready to never do?
Give it in return.
There it is. They always ready to take, but they never ready to give back. And that's the problem with that mind of I'm gonna say this just like this. we are supposed to expect from each other all of these different fruits of the Spirit. I'm supposed to expect brotherhood from y'all. And you guys are supposed to expect brotherhood from me, right? And sisterhood. We are to expect those things from each other, right? But we expect them because they're supposed to be towards each other. But how can I expect something from you that you're not willing to give? How can I expect it if you're not willing to give it? Right? So if a person has their mind set that you're supposed to do this towards me because the Bible says so, but their mind is not willing or ready to give back that thing, then they're out of whack. They're not in the right spirit. And those become the people that use, abuse, they take, they don't have boundaries, they don't know when enough is enough, and they just move around. They'll move around your house any old way. They'll move around, they'll borrow your vehicle, and you borrow somebody's vehicle, put the gas back in it.
Yeah.
They'll give you the car back on E, or they'll eat in the car, they'll do different things in the vehicle, right? They'll do things as if it's theirs because they feel like it's owed to them. So the reason why we're going through this is to show, yes, this is our duty, it's our culture. But it's not our culture for, and I'm gonna go to the scripture, for one to be burdened while another is eased. Right? The scriptures bear ye every man his own burden. Right? So go from there. Drop that song. Go to Psalms 34 and verse 1. It's a lot. Yeah, 34 and verse 1. Yep.
Fine. Psalms 34, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
I'll bless the Lord at all times.
I'll do what?
Bless the Lord at all times.
Read on.
His praise shall continually be in my mouth.
Right. This is how you should be postured, especially when you're in a damn time of need. Your brain should be postured towards blessing the Most High, giving thanks to the Most High for his provisions, right? For putting the people around you that at least have your well-being in some account, that at least can look and say, hey, this person's in need, how do we take care of it? It may not be much, but we're here to help. Read on.
Verse 2.
Right?
My soul shall make her boast in the Lord.
Come on.
The humble shall hear thereof.
The what?
The humble shall hear thereof
Uh-huh.
and be glad.
Uh-huh.
Oh, magnify the Lord with me,
Go ahead.
and let us exalt his name.
And that's what it's about. This is supposed to, your humility, your receiving of the good and acknowledging the Most High is supposed to exalt his name. Right? You're supposed to be able to step back after the situation is over and say, man, Barakatah Yahweh, the Bible is true. When people follow it and they hold it as their wisdom, it's true. And you can step on it and stand on it or hold and hang your hat on it. And you don't have to, suffer in this world with, you got people going through all types of madness. Come on, who's it? Peter Guns, the rapper? Peter Guns, like everybody kind of know him, Peter Guns, right? You probably don't know him, but he's a rapper. It just hit the headline that his kids and his ex-wife is homeless. It's like, yo, how? The industry don't take care of itself, but it don't. That's the point. Like, people will be inside of these industries, the NBA, the music industry, the movie industry, and they'll sit back and watch people go through situations that could be avoided. Like, everybody knows, like, the whole Jay-Z and Dame Dash situation. Like, Dame Dash got nothing. Literally, they took his life, basically, in this civil suit.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Jay-Z could make a one phone call and wire this man 30 grand, 40 grand, 500,000, tax write-off, and change that man's whole life, and he won't do it. Or, from what we know, he won't do it. But think about it. He has the power to change a man's whole life. This man got kids. This man got a wife. Right? He about to get evicted. They took all his business, all his assets, everything he owns.
Yeah. In the industry.
And but nobody in the industry, after what he's done for the rap industry, he's done a lot. After what he's done, nobody's saying, man, let me float you something. Let me, but you know what? You know what's wild? The nigga that came home from jail, somebody will show up with a shoebox full of 20s for him. A shoebox full of $20,000, $30,000. But a man that's struggling with his kids and his wife, no one wants to show him that hostility from his own industry. It's crazy, right? So I'm bringing that out because we're supposed to be able to stand on something greater. We're supposed to be able to go through our situations, and those situations, it says a brother is born for adversity.
Right.
We're supposed to be able to go through situations and at least expect that, man, somebody's gonna look out for me. Somebody's gonna be there to come to my aid. A brother, a sister, someone is gonna have the necessities that I need. And it may not be an abundant, but they're gonna be able to keep me afloat. And that's all it really is, right? That's all it really should be, is if we have the mentality and then we perform it, then we all shouldn't be in a worrisome state. Like in these times where you got bombs dropping here and bombs dropping there, and people are in desperation over there, right? We shouldn't have to move in that mentality, is the point. Go to Hebrews 13. Hebrews 13 and 12, and then jump down to verse 15. So we're just on this point of the mind state of a person that is receiving hospitality. They should be in a humility, a thanksgiving, a glorifying the Most High mentality, always. Not looking at their situation, boo-hoo, woe is me, angry, prideful, bitter, upset. Why is the Lord doing this to me? No, why did you do it to yourself? And now the Most High is still providing, even in your ill decision making, He's still providing you a way to get out, and that's how you got to look at it, right? What's up? What's up, Corey?
Just on the conversation from last night,
Oh, right.
they online.
Oh, go ahead, read. That, the spirit. Read.
Hebrews chapter 12. What? Till verse 12.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 12. Yeah, then jump down to 15. Go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Wherefore Yahweh shall also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood,
Right.
suffered without the gates.
Right. Jump down to verse 15 just to get the context of who it's speaking about. Go ahead.
Verse 15.
Right.
By him therefore,
So by Yahweh Shai, therefore, go ahead.
let us offer the sacrifice of praise to God.
Let us do what?
Let us offer the sacrifice of praise to the Most High.
Right. We should be praising the Most High. It says, praise the Most High at all times, right? We should be offering that sacrifice of praise and not the sacrifice of fools or the sacrifices of pride and lack of humility. We should be praising the Most High at all times. Read on for me.
Continually.
Uh-huh.
That is the fruit of our lips.
Go ahead.
Giving thanks to his name.
But what?
Giving thanks to his name.
Right. We should be giving thanks to his name. Go to Ephesians 5:15. Ephesians 5:15 down to verse 21.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15.
Right. So remember, this whole mind state is we're not supposed to be complaining. Right? You're not supposed to be complaining in these situations. We're not supposed to complain about anything. Murmuring and complaining. We gotta make sure that we're exercising that out of our psyche. I know me, I'm trying to not do that, right? Because when I be looking at it, I'm like, yo, life can be worse, right? Yeah, we always want it to be a lot better than what it is because we always looking for that preeminence, right? But yo, things could be so much worse.
Right.
We could be in we could be in some totally different situations just based on decision making, right? So read that Ephesians 5:15 real quick.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15.
Uh-huh.
See then that ye walk circumspectly,
Go ahead.
not as fools,
But as fools, right? Go ahead.
but as wise.
Right, because we know what's going on in these times. Read.
Redeeming the time.
Doing what?
Redeeming the time.
Right, and we're in these times where more and more we're going to be needed to show the hospitality and the brotherhood and the sisterhood. These things should always be shown, right? But we're in these last times where jobs are up in the air, right? Cost of living is just insanely wild. So you literally a paycheck away from being homeless. You a paycheck away from being evicted, a paycheck away from being repoed, a paycheck away from just not having what you had.
Yeah.
And you gotta be comfortable with that. Some of us ain't comfortable with that. You gotta be comfortable with that mind state, but then you also gotta be comfortable with the mind state of, while I'm worried about my finances and my this and my that, somebody else is worried about theirs, and they might actually lose theirs. And what do? Do I sit back and just watch them go through their decay, or do I have to now split what I got?
Multiply the loaves and the
Yeah,
fish.
right. The fish and the bread, right? It's the mentality. We're all going to be going through it, but it says the strong must bear the infirmities of the weak. But because you're going through your thing, it doesn't mean that it's an occasion to murmur or to complain or to be bitter. Go ahead.
Because the days are evil.
Read on.
Wherefore be ye not unwise,
Read.
but understanding what the will of the Lord is.
Right. What is the will of the Lord? What is the will, the law, the will of the Lord? What does it all say? What it all says that we're supposed to be looking out for each other. Right? The will of the law, or the will of the Lord tells us to look out for one another as brethren and sisters. Go ahead.
And be not drunk with wine.
What verse you at?
Verse 18.
Go ahead.
Wherein is excess,
Mm-hmm.
but be filled with the Spirit.
Right. What is the Spirit telling us that we need to be doing? Hospitality, love, unity, community, culture. Go ahead.
Speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns.
Go ahead.
And spiritual songs.
Right.
Singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord.
In what?
Singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord.
Verse 20 is the point. Go ahead.
Giving thanks always.
Right, because again, in these times, sometimes it's not automatically remembered to give thanks for the things that you have, whether it be little, whether it be great, right? Sometimes we forget, man, because sometimes it is rough for some brothers and sisters in different aspects of life. You tend to forget to give thanks to the Most High. That you're able to go through another day and you're making it. You're not losing your mind. That you could actually see the times.
Right.
Right? That you could actually imagine seeing what's going on the news and not even being able to calculate it.
Yeah.
Meaning, you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't have no type of spiritual insight. That's a lot of our people. They just go on with the flow.
Right.
Where you're able to sit back and say, yeah, well, scriptures talked about this. Yep, next. Like a woman in travail.
Yeah.
They're going to drop some bombs. Everybody's going to get all uptight. Like I was talking to Kazak the other day. And he was like, man, I've been on the news. And I was like, truthfully, bro, I haven't watched the news. And he's like, really? I said, I'm just waiting to hear something happen here.
Yeah.
It did happen out there. It needs to happen here. Something needs to happen in America before I get, anything raises my eyebrows, because we know what it's going to be. It's going to be bombs drop, then they're going to chill for a minute. The bombs going to drop, they're going to chill for a minute, like a woman in travail, right? But it's not going to really, nothing ain't really going on until something happens here, right? Until one of them countries blows something up out here, and then America gotta retaliate, right? Think about it. You got Trump online. Oh, it was a great victory. We dropped 14 bombs on the nuclear power plants. Them dudes came back and said, look, you didn't do no damage.
Right.
We'll be back up and running in 3 months. And then Trump, no, they're lying. They're probably gonna be back up and running in 3 months. More than likely. What's that?
I was watching the, I think it was either Candace Owens or Redacted.
Okay,
Um,
2 of my favorites.
yeah, and then it was like, Trump knew what he was doing. He knew to bomb something so little like that, because had he actually bombed something that was worth, like, for them, then America would have been bombed already, like, right away. And he knew if he would have actually bombed some important buildings with some important people, America would have
They would have been out.
bombed.
They ain't bombing Tehran. They're not bombing the capital.
Yeah,
They said that they moved the uranium that they were trying to get, they moved it to Tehran, and they knew that. They bombed the damn empty facility.
yeah.
Wow.
They said they evacuated it, they got the people out. Come on, they got intel, they know what's going on before it happens. You know, they try to do some diversion. We're gonna send a few bombers this way and that way. Yeah, they got spies on the ground that's telling them they got B-2 bombers headed your way. There's no way you take a 36-hour trip and nobody don't know it. You know what I mean? So it's all, and that's the point. It's all like this game, right? But at the same time, we're able to see the game that they're playing because the Bible tells us about the game. But then we're also able to see the game that we're supposed to be playing, which is not being caught up in that, how the wicked is going to be destroyed, but how the righteous is saved. And we're saved by the things that we do towards each other. That's the bottom line.
Right.
That's what it boils down to. It's nothing else. Everything you do towards a person, that's what's going to be accounted. Everything you do towards the Most High, that's going to be accounted for your righteousness, as well as the law, right? Everything negative you do towards a person, that's going to be accounted, as well as, and if it's breaking the law, that's going to be accounted. So either way, it's about how we deal, right? What did Christ say? He said, they'll know that you're my disciples by the way you do what? Right, by the way you treat one another, the way you love one another, right? And so, you know, that's what we got to be looking at, redeeming the times in these days. That got to be the focus. Everything else is BS, right? Everything else, you can get caught up in money, you can get caught up in businesses, you can get caught up in starting this and starting that. But what does that matter if it doesn't involve how you deal with people? If you're not fair to people, if you're not equitable, what does it matter what business you got going or what you start? It don't matter. I'm talking about camps or just individuals. What does it matter what camp business you got if it's not about the people? If it's just about money, you know, different, right? So the focus is, we got to make sure that where our focus is at. What does the Most High in Christ want, right? What do they want from? What's always been the problem with Israelites? That warring against one another, that fighting, that infighting, that Ephraim will not vex Judah and Judah will not vex Ephraim, right? It's always about us coming together under the umbrella of the Most High. Read that verse 20 one more time. Did you have something? Read that verse 20 one more time.
Ephesians 5, verse 20.
Right, and then read verse 21. Go ahead.
Giving thanks always for all things unto the Most High,
Right,
and the Father in the name of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach.
right.
Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God.
At the end of the day, that's what we should be doing, is submitting ourselves, opening ourselves up to one another, right? The definition of hospitality, right, where it says the generous, involve willingness, comfort, emotional, right. True hospitality is marked by kindness, openness, and a selfless desire to serve. So that submitting to one another is you opening yourself up, right, and giving yourself in a willingness to serve the brother or sister that is in need. What's up? Yeah, sure.
You know how like these protests are going on for this deportation and stuff.
Right.
And just quickly on the point of how you're saying about the scripture, Ephraim shall not vex Judah, or Judah shall vex Ephraim.
In this,
The Northern Kingdom, Hispanics, are creating a lot of videos like, why isn't the black community supporting us?
Right.
And then on the back end, the response to that is Southern Kingdom making responses like, they're making responses saying, oh, when it was Black Lives Matter, y'all never showed up. So it's like, well, is it Black Lives or is it Brown Pride or da-da-da-da?
Right.
But, and the point of me just bringing this up is, like how you were saying right now, not to focus on how the wicked are going to perish, but how are we treating one another? Now we know that even with these mass deportations and these protests, that's still a level of distraction of what we gotta do, because what we're just doing in these protests is just raging out, acting a fool. But
right, and it's a narrative that's being painted that it's a nasty narrative that's being painted to further cause division.
Yeah.
Because black folks is definitely out there, even in their ignorance, they're protesting. Right? Everybody from all different demographics is out there because let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. They're not just deporting Issachar or the so-called Mexicans. They got Haitians on the list.
Yeah.
They running up on Jamaicans.
Yeah.
They running up on any person of color that has been here too long. I haven't seen them run up on like a European yet. I've seen them run up on the Middle Eastern people and black folks and Hispanic folks. I ain't seen like a Ukrainian get ran down on.
Or Israeli?
Or an Israeli get ran down on, or a Russian. I haven't seen them get ran down, and I know they here. I know they here, but I haven't seen them get ran down on yet. I ain't seen no videos of them running down into Little Russia and grabbing one of them Russian. I said Little Russia. Or Little Italy, or you know what I'm saying? But they running through them fields and grabbing these Mexicans, the farms. But it's a narrative that they're painting to put us, to divide that wedge against us, or to put that wedge to keep us divided. So you got to be careful for that also. We got to be careful of that. It's no point to go out there where they're actually acting stupid in a riot, and then they pepper spraying. They hitting niggas with funny bullets.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't go out there and really do much, right? Like it's hard to do anything in that type of situation when I'm talking about Israelites. I'm talking about us. If we went out there to go street teach or whatever, the crowd is so volatile. You be out there on a damn microphone. Next thing you know, you gas mask them because they're not doing things out there with any type of. They're not just using their words. They're out there vandalizing property. They're out there. Come on, y'all see what they're doing with these cars. I mean, my Facebook photo is a damn Mexican standing there with the flag on the top of a convoy that they just destroyed.
They use that as an excuse to do malicious things.
Right, and that's the point. So when you try to go out there let's teach the people, and then all of a sudden you got to evacuate and you're not ready to get hit by tear gas, it's kind of counterproductive. You know what I mean? And we don't, I'm not taking part in that.
And we just kind of hit that, but where in that example, just on the topic of the class, is that hospitable spirit amongst each other? Like you're raging out in the street, I can just imagine how you are at the house, and to your guests that pull up to the house.
That's the point. That's the point. It's not there in our people in the world, but that's why we got to be the examples of it here. Where you going?
Let me get Psalms 37 and verse 25.
And this is on the same point, right?
Yeah, just when you're that one that's in need and you're under someone else's abode or in someone else's debt or help, you got to understand that you should still give thanks and praise to the Most High, because it's coming from this person, but it's coming from the Lord.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Who got it?
Because Christ ain't gonna come down himself and hand you nothing. The Most High is not gonna come. It gotta come through us. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point is that the Most High is working on two fronts: the person that's giving and the person that's receiving. He's trying to make a perfect situation, like we know Ecclesiastes 34, Ecclesiastes 43 talks about. One set against another, What is he doing? Well, iron sharpeneth iron, right? Go to where we at?
Go ahead.
Psalms chapter 37 and verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
I have been young, and now I'm old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread.
So when you're in a low situation, are you literally out on the street, or was there someone there to give some type of comfort or aid? Make sure that you had something to fill your belly with that night, or a place to stay, or a ride. We're always here for each other. So you got to see that this is something that David is speaking of in the spirit. He goes, never have I seen the righteous forsaken, or his children begging for bread. We've never just left one another out. So that's something that we got to be thankful for. Read on.
Verse 26. He is ever merciful.
Who?
He is ever merciful.
That's the Most High offering that mercy. That's the Most High offering that generosity through another brother, another sister.
Right.
But then you can't see that generosity and be like, well, he ain't giving me enough. He ain't helping me out enough. Well, you know what? My covers, he don't come, when I'm staying over here, they don't go behind me and clean up my room and fold my covers. Like, what kind of generosity and hospitality is this? It's like, you getting some type of hospitality. You getting some type of help. Don't take a dump on the help. Don't take a dump on the generosity, because it's coming through a man, but it's coming from the Lord. What'd you have? You had your hand up?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that Boondock Saint episode of Katrina? Where like it's a family from New Orleans goes to the house of the main characters of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and months and months pass, and they're portraying like, man, I'm in need, man, this happened to remember, Katrina happened to me, dang, woe is me, I'm waiting for FEMA to drop that check.
God.
And all in the back of the mind, the whole time, they're like, once we get this check, we're gonna dip. We're gonna exploit the help and everything like that. But as soon as they got the check, they were gone. They were gone. So just even on this point right here, he is ever merciful and lendeth. It's like, I stay with brothers and everything like that. And I always gotta make sure I remind myself and check myself and examine myself on what is the intent of me receiving this help, and what am I trying to reciprocate back, or am I just here running game because I got nowhere to lay my head at? And then when a come up comes, am I just gonna be just dip? Where's the mercy in that? Because I'm getting the mercy, I'm receiving the lending hand and the help, but just
Well, even on that, a person in that type situation wouldn't be playing the person that's given the helping hand or showing the generosity. They're playing the Most High. They think they trying to play the Most High.
Not like I said there.
Because the scripture, well, I got one more real quick. Proverbs 19 and 17. Just on what you were saying.
Proverbs chapter 19, verse 17. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord,
Go ahead.
and that which he hath given will he pay him again.
So the person that's helping, that person that's in the lower state, he's doing it towards the Lord. And then that person that's being helped, like Partizop said, you're being the Most High is working on two fronts. The person that's being helped is being helped from the Lord. So who does that person think that they're playing?
Right.
If they're not being spiritual minded, if they're taking for granted the help, however great or however small it is, at least they're getting help, they're getting something. They're not completely getting neglected. They're having their needs satisfied, which would be what? Roof over the head, food on the table, clothes on the back.
Right.
You are provided in some way, shape, or form. And it may not be 100% from a brother or sister, but the Most High is making a way for you. So you got to be grateful for that. And for someone in that mind that say, hey, like, you know what? As soon as I come up, I'm a dip. I got mines now.
Yeah.
Someone tried to dip on me like that. I told him, I was like, oh, when you get your money right, that's when you gonna dip?
Wait till I get my money right.
Right. I was like, no, you got a month. You can be out by the end of the month. Don't worry about paying no bills. Get your money right this month. Well, whatever you come up with for this month, that's as bright as you gonna get, and you out.
Real quick, so Avery asked a question, would 2 Thessalonians 3:10 and 12, 3:10 through 12 go with the idea of how to not receive responsibility? No, we ain't gotta go there, but no, that's literally talking about what it's saying. If a man don't work, he don't eat, right? It talks about men walking disorderly and not following. Paul was, reminding the men of Thessalonica to watch out for certain people that they don't want to even lift their own hands to provide for themselves, right? And that was them moving disorderly. So that's what that was going into. Let's hit this next point. Let's hit this next point. So the next point, somebody said it. You said it, Mathea. Think about how you can be an asset to their house, right? You said that, right?
Sir.
Right. So be a blessing in return. Because that's the title of the class, right? Ain't that the title of the class? The title of the class is, what is it? Blessed to be a blessing. So think about it. This person is blessing you. Now, it should be, if you're in a humble state of mind, giving thanksgiving to the Lord, this part shouldn't be too hard, right? This part shouldn't be too hard. This part should be easy, because then your mind should automatically be geared towards, wait, how do I lessen the burden on the person that's providing and performing the hospitality while being a help to them, right? Being in the household. Like if I'm moving in with a person, well, I'm gonna try to find every little way I can to help, to lighten my presence, right? Whether it be monetarily, whether it be making sure that I'm not a messy person, right? Making sure that I'm picking up after myself. But I'm not just gonna pick up after my own self. Right? Because I'm in this person's home, I'm cleaning the home. I'm treating this place as if it's my place. So I'm cleaning, I'm offering different services. I'm looking at things that maybe I can assist with, right? I'm now trying to be innovative. Now, this could be a problem though. And maybe this is in certain aspects of this, it may be too high of an expectation. Because what if this person is not like that in their own space or with their own goods? And this is why they need the hospitality. Then what? See, it's tricky, right? It's tricky. But it still has to be some mind, and pardon me, y'all, my leg. I gotta put my leg up, so I'm sitting funny. But there has to be some mind towards the giver. There has to be. That's the point. There has to be a mind towards this person is doing something for me. How can I at least show the gratitude? Right? So go to Proverbs. Go to Proverbs 11 and verse 24. You're gonna read 11, 24, and 25. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 11, verse 24.
There is that scattereth. Go ahead.
And yet increaseth.
And yet increase. Go ahead.
And there is that withholdeth. More than is meet. But it tendeth to poverty.
Right. So this is showing you about a mind state, and it's something that we think the opposite. The more I hold back for myself, the more I'm gonna have. Usually, all the time it don't go like that. The more you hold for yourself, the less you actually have. The less you actually have. So the Bible is teaching this lesson of you're supposed to scatter, right? Like when you go and you scatter your seed, agriculturally, I'm speaking of, Gotta say that, because brothers be like, scatter your seed. Oh, we can do that? No. When you scatter your seed in the ground, corn or whatever, lettuce or whatever, the point is every one of them seeds don't come up. If you put 100 out there, 100 don't come up. Right? You'd be lucky to get 50 that come up. And then 25 get eaten by whatever little worms and bugs.
Birds.
And then 10 get ate by bird. You spread 50, man, you get probably about 10. Right? So the Bible is teaching us this idea through agriculture that you scatter, the more you scatter, the more you'll have. But we have the idea that the less we scatter, the more we have. And it's not even economical. Right? So the person that is in this need, they got to figure out ways how to give themselves the more, is the point. How do I give myself more? How do I do that more so that I can receive more? Go ahead.
Verse 25. The liberal soul shall be made fat.
The what?
The liberal soul shall be made fat.
Right, it says the liberal soul shall be made fat. The one that is always in that giving mode. So I'm trying to show y'all two things here. This is how you stop from being in these situations that you're always in need, by being more liberal. That's first and foremost. It says alms saveth in the time of death. Right? It says when you give alms, you store up for yourself. Whatever those alms may be. Right? So in order to remove myself from these detrimental situations where someone has to be overly hospitable to me, maybe I should look at me and say, well, am I predisposed to being liberal, or am I conservative? Meaning I gotta, gotta say some of that over here.
I don't want to overextend myself.
But then in that lack of overextension, you don't got nothing for you. In actuality, you probably spend more energy trying to reserve. You lose more with trying to reserve than you do with being liberal, like the scripture is teaching us. Go ahead.
And he that watereth shall be watered also himself.
Right, and this is always like a fear, like, but if I give everything and if I pour out my whole cup, who's going to pour it in me? Right, but just think about it. Just think about it. It's the Most High. Go to 2 Corinthians real quick. Go to 2 Corinthians. Is it 9? All good things abound. 2 Corinthians 9. It's either second or right. 2 Corinthians 9 and verse 8.
Come on. 2 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 8.
Nope. This is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna verse 6.
Yep.
Verse 6.
Right? Just right with the same point. Go ahead.
But this I say,
Right?
he which soweth sparingly
Right?
shall reap also sparingly.
Right. So I'm trying to show y'all or express the point of the person that's in need, they can still sow bountifully in that person's home. Right? You can look at what's needed and say, you know what, I'm gonna dedicate myself to that on the behalf of this person because that's what they need. Go ahead.
And he which soweth bountifully
Uh-huh.
shall reap also bountifully.
Go ahead.
Every man according as he purposes in his heart.
Right. It's all according to your heart. Think about it. Laban said to Jacob, because of you I'm blessed. When he had Jacob up in his house. Now, Jacob went there to go tend some sheep, get him a wife. Well, really, he went there to get him a wife, right?
Done.
And to hide from Esau. But in exchange, he had to do what? He became Laban's servant. How did he serve? Did he half-ass it? Do we read about him and, Jacob was out there, man, lazy as hell, sheep was running away. You know what I'm saying? The house was falling into decay. He got his woman and he just went into autopilot. Did we read that? Or did he have to put in more work once he got what he wanted? Think about it. He had to put in more work just to get a little piece for himself. Just to get a few sheep and things for himself. He had to go into overdrive. Right? And he's in someone else's house. Because the point is, I can't be here forever. Jacob wasn't trying to be there forever. Especially the way Laban was dealing with him, he was being unfair. But anybody in their right mind, once you're in those situations, you should be trying to figure out ways to not overextend your stay. We're gonna talk about that also. But whilst I'm there, I'm sowing bountifully so I can reap bountifully. This person initially has sowed bountifully towards me in hospitality, and I reap that hospitality. So I should be finding ways to sow towards them in gratitude towards their hospitality. Go ahead.
So let him give, not grudgingly,
Now what?
not
Come
grudgingly,
on.
or of necessity.
Come on.
For God loveth a cheerful giver,
Read verse 8.
and God is able to make all grace abound toward you.
Right. So he that watereth shall be watered.
Mm-hmm.
We have this fear that when we pour out the cup ain't gonna be recovered. It's not gonna be refreshed. But he said he'll make all grace abound towards you. Come on.
Salak, that ye always having all sufficiency in all things may abound to every good work.
Read verse 9.
As it is written, he hath dispersed abroad, he hath given to the poor, his righteousness remaineth forever.
And that's the point, is no matter what position or state you're in, lowest state, highest state, there's still something to give. Right? You read in Tobit, he said, give alms of thy substance, whether it be little or whether it be great.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, there's always something that you can provide to that person that is providing for you. Right? So, again, be a blessing and not a hindrance. Find ways to show that gratitude, but then, you might have to get creative. You might have to get innovative, but you have to do it. What's up?
What was the name of the point 2?
The point is be a blessing in return. Right? Be a blessing in return. So sometimes, man, it's just really how your attitude is. Just being a good spirit in the home, or being a good spirit around that person. Sometimes it's just how your spirit interacts with their spirit, and that's all that's needed. But see, it's all dependent. Everybody's situation is different when we're in these situations. You got to be able to look and see, man, what's needed around here that I can provide, because I'm taking something. I'm taking something, right? Go from there.
It's like, can I clean more? Can I help organize?
Something.
Can I, is where can I put in? If it's not always money, can I put in some way, shape, or form,
right,
into the house? Because they're putting into me by helping me. I'm in this lower state. How can I give back in some type of way?
Yeah, because you know what we tend to do? Oh, this ain't my house. I'm just visiting. I'm just here. Right? It ain't my house. Yeah, you're right. It ain't. It ain't your house. It ain't your car. But you'll use that thing up.
Right.
You'll be up in it. You had that AC down to 60, and that gas tank on E, and that refrigerator on empty, like it's your house. So, knowing damn well you have no means to resupply that. Right? You have no means to resupply it, and we're not trying to make this about anything carnal, but just to remind brothers and sisters that first of all, we all in situations where nobody got the abundance. But then if you come through and take the lack of abundance that I have, and your mind is not set a certain way, it does become frustrating to uphold a person that don't even see their own estate. It does become a nuisance. After a while, it does become burdensome for one party. So these are the things that we got to be reminded about. Like, somebody's giving you something, there's a spirit in how you receive. Right? Where you at? Go to 1 Peter's 3 and 8. 1 Peter's 3 and 8.
1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8.
Go ahead.
Finally, be ye all of one
And
mind.
you're gonna go back to Corinthians, chapter, that same Corinthians, you're gonna go to chapter 8, though. Go ahead.
Finally, be ye all of one
Be
mind.
all of what?
Of one
Yeah, it
mind.
doesn't matter the estate that I'm in. It doesn't matter that I gotta borrow from you or get hospital. It doesn't matter, but can we be in the same mind on how this thing is supposed to work? Okay, you gotta live with me now. Can we be in the same mind? Right? Can you assimilate, or excuse me, can you acclimate to my rules and regulations and how things are being done? Can I acclimate to having you here? And understanding that some of the rules and regulations may not apply to you,
Con.
right? It's a give or take now that we're in this situation. Go ahead.
Having compassion one of another.
So the person giving hospitality is having compassion. The person receiving it has to have that compassion that, wait a minute, someone's putting themselves out there for me. Go ahead.
Love as brethren.
Go ahead.
Be pitiful.
Go ahead.
Be courteous.
Read verse 9.
Verse 9. Not rendering evil for
Go
evil,
ahead.
or railing for railing,
Go ahead.
but contrariwise, blessing.
But contrariwise what?
Blessing.
Yeah, it's that easy, right? It's not a railing for railing and evil for evil, but I'm supposed to be looking, how can I bless? How can I bless this house? How can I bless this situation? How can I become now an asset in the situation? Right? You could drop that. Go to second Corinthians 8:13.
This 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 13.
Go ahead.
For I mean not that other men be eased,
Go ahead.
and ye burdened.
See, that's not the point, is for one to be eased and for one to be burdened. Now, that's going to happen in certain situations where people, they go through things and they got to really get a jump start.
Yeah.
And that burden is going to be on a person maybe for a moment. You know, hey, man, you know, I ain't got no rent money for like the next 3 months. I'm trying to get it. You know what? Look, it's all good. I got it. But when you get on your feet, what should be the mind? To unburden the person. That's how you know if hospitality is being received the proper way. If my mind is to unburden you from the burden that you're showing, that you're giving me, or that you've unburdened me from, then we got something going. But if the mind is, yeah, like you said, get on my feet and I'm up.
Yeah.
Get on my feet and I'm good. As long as I'm good, as long as I got it, as long as I'm straight, it's not a good mind, right?
I even
Huh?
even like I have many house guests,
you the Airbnb.
right?
True.
And my grandmother on my dad's side,
Wait.
she was a house guest. And in the midst of this, I mean, it's not like, you know, I was charging rent or anything like that. She stayed around for a little bit. But she did everything around the house that she could do. Like as far as cleaning, making sure the trash is taken out. There's no dishes in the sink, whether it's from myself or her or anybody else that was in the house. She put in however she can put in, just period, even though she didn't have the money, but she put in some way. So like this scripture, I mean that not others be eased and ye burdened. It's like, okay, well, one person's holding one burden. Well, she tried to hold a burden in another way as being the house guest. And then of course, you know, when finances get right, you know, it has switched. It was like, okay, yeah, well, I can help in this way too now. But she was always mindful, and I knew this was always on her mind. This is just how she moves. She moves that she doesn't want to be a burden on people. So whenever she's around someone, she makes sure she does as much as she can to hold her weight and some, if she can.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she appreciates the hospitality.
Read on.
But by any quality that now at this time your abundance may be a supply for their want.
Yeah, and that's how it goes. The equality is that they're gonna need. They're in the situation because they need. But the whole point is that that person is supposed to be rebuilding themselves, their mind, their spirit, to be able to now disperse back either to the same person or to others. That's the point. You can't always be in need. You can't always be the weak while everyone else is the strong. At some point, you're supposed to take the time to strengthen yourself, whether it be mentally, spiritually, whatever it is. But you can't always be the liability. You can't always be the one taking and then never be in a position to give back. Whether it be example, you always taking the example, but you never put out a good example. Right? You take the hospitality, but you never can formulate the spirit on how to build yourself to be able to give the hospitality. It don't make sense, and it's abiblical, right? It goes against the Bible. It goes against the principles, because then now you're not performing your own culture. Someone else is performing the culture towards you, but you get to maneuver past that part where it's your time to give, where it's your time to show the hospitality, and like Yahweh Shai said, he said, bear ye one another's burdens, but every man should bear his own burden. But when are you going to be able to bear another man's burden for that moment, while they can get the refresher, while they can get lifted up? See, if your mind don't think like that, you won't never do it. You'll always be the one with the handout. Read on.
That their abundance also may be a supply for your want.
See that? That person is supposed to be building up an abundance. But it's only going to work. Watch this. It only works if what? Go back. Jump back right over to chapter 9, where we just read. Chapter 9 and verse, what is that? What was the point that I wanted in that chapter 9? It says he'll make all grace abound towards you, every good work. Read that.
This 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8.
Right.
And God is able to make all grace abound toward you.
Right.
That ye always have all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good work.
Yeah, what are your works? What are your future works? What are your past works? What are you thinking on? Because he'll make you rebound from your estate to be able to now be the disperser. But are you thinking that way? Are you thinking about how can I put in more work to develop this grace that the Most High has for me already waiting? Or I should say, to take advantage of this grace that he's willing to give us all if our works are good. You know, a lot of times that's why a lot of things don't happen, right? In your life, in the camp. Because the Most High already knows where your mind is at towards the thing you want to do. And so instead of letting you go through with it, he just shuts it off. Because that's not going to be a good work. Right? So he doesn't let it abound. He doesn't let it build up. He actually shuts off that water. And you sitting back like, how come Most High blessing me? Right? But it's not because he don't want to bless you. It's not because he doesn't want to give us that grace, but what are your works going to be once you receive that abundance? Well, are you going to do the Proverbs thing and hold it to yourself and be in more need, or are you going to disperse? See how it works?
I'm laughing because a memory hit me, right?
Yeah, we got a lot of memories on this type of topic.
Oh yeah. So, bear you one another's burdens, right? All that. And I remember I'm helping the brother out. He's staying at the house. COVID time. Oh man, I ain't got no money.
We borrow your mask.
Right? Ain't got no money. He's like, I ain't got no money. bro. But I'm waiting for my stimulus to hit. And I'm supposed to be getting.
That was that stimulus check.
Right. I'm supposed to be getting some back pay from unemployment.
That pandemic check.
When that hit, bro, I got you. Look, I know I know it's been some months, but don't worry, man. I got you. And then when that hit, or a piece of it hit, the stimulus check hit, not the back payment on unemployment, but the stimulus hit, and he's like, yeah, I got this 1,200, but
This came up.
No. I want to do the righteous thing, man. I want to give it all back to you in one lump sum. I don't want to just give you a little bit here and a little bit there. I want to give it all back to you.
So you got to wait for the next check.
And I'm like,
Israel.
well, bro, you can give me 1 month, like,
Give me something, man. Damn, like give me something from the abundance.
right? Look, I'm good with just a 500, like, you know.
I don't want the whole joint, but
But then the whole joint hit, and he's like, man, you know what? I was really gonna pay you back, but I just got this new Cadillac, and man, the car note on this is expensive, man. Like, I'm not gonna be able to.
Damn.
I'm not gonna be able to pay you back. I'm not gonna be able to give you that. I'm like,
Man, why do you do that?
I'm like, damn.
That car note. Yeah.
Like, what?
But then you end up living in the car. That's the problem.
Right.
You know,
So that's that holding back.
Yeah, you end up holding back, and then you end up making the car your home.
Con.
That's what happened to that brother.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up living in that car because that was more important to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
He in jail.
This guy's mean, bro. You know when you like get the shotgun when you like okay no.
What?
That was where you at?
Verse 14.
Go ahead, read on.
That there may be equality.
That there may be what?
Be
See,
equality.
the Most High is trying to bring us all into an equality no matter what state you're in. No matter where you start, he's trying to bring us into this equality of the same mind, same judgment, understanding how to deal with each other. Some of us are not equally yoked in how we're supposed to deal with one another. And that's why it be contentious and hard and weird amongst brothers and sisters. You be just weird because you don't have an understanding, and you don't have an equally yoked mind on hospitality, brotherhood, sisterhood, charity, love, giving. You're stingy, and people around you aren't. Right? That's an unequally yoked mind. Right? And so there has to be equality in everything that we do. Go ahead.
As it is written, he that had gathered much had nothing over,
Right?
and he that had gathered little had no lack.
Right, because I always use the wisdom of, if we're all supposed to go out and gather 10 apples, but I gathered 18 and you gathered 2, well, damn, let me slide you these 8. I don't need 18, I just need 10.
Con.
And you lack, so let me slide you. So I don't have too much, you don't have too little, I don't have too little, and you don't have too much. We're equal. That should be the mentality on all fronts. Right?
Yeah.
That should be the mentality on all fronts. And again, if that's not the mind, then we can see why some people are more predisposed to having to have the hospitality continually showed to them because they have to learn the lessons, but they're not learning the lesson. So you got to keep being inside the lesson. You got to keep having the live example of this is how hospitality is given and this is how you receive it. And you got to keep going through these situations where you're going to have to keep learning these lessons, right? Next point. As you willingly receive their carnal assets, meaning house, food, clothes. But that's what we look at hospitality, right? House, food, clothing, this, that, and the third. But see, there was something very key in the definition, right? It was something very key in the definition. I'm gonna go back to it. Hospitality is the generous and friendly reception and treatment of guests, visitors, or strangers. It involves the willingness to offer comfort, food, shelter, and emotional warmth to others, often going beyond basic duty or obligation. That emotional warmth, right? I look at that not just as like some feeling towards the person, but I also look at that as where certain conversations are going to be had, right? You're with a person, you're there, the Most High is putting you there to learn from that person, so you got to be willing to learn from that person and not just take the food, the drink, the shelter, but now you got to take their wisdom. So that means what? You got to be willing to discourse, got to be willing to have the talks. And not just make it about a food, drink, car. I need your car. I need to borrow your car. You make it about everything carnal, and then you miss the entire lesson, right? You miss the entire thing that you're supposed to learn from this person. So go to Ecclesiastes 6:35. We know this already. 6:35 to 36. Somebody get Proverbs 19 and 20. Go ahead.
Sirach chapter 6 and verse 35.
We'll speed up just a tad. Yeah, you know it.
Be willing to hear every godly discourse.
Right. See, be willing to hear every godly discourse. It's plain. I really got to go into that. It's not just about what you can take on the carnal front, food and drink, but you better be willing to take some of this godly discourse, some of this spiritual discourse that needs to be implanted into you. Go ahead.
And let not the parables of understanding escape thee.
Go ahead.
And if thou seest a man of understanding,
right,
get thee betimes unto him.
Especially like in a camp setting. We're not gonna, if a person is in need and they need, we're not gonna put you with somebody that's like you. We're putting you with somebody that's better than you so they can help you. So we can do this same very thing, which is give you the carnal things that you need, the things that are needed for the body, but then also they're there to give you a higher spiritual lesson. Like, it's not coincidental. Go ahead.
And let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Proverbs 19 and verse 20, Proverbs 25 and 12.
Proverbs chapter 19, verse 20.
Go ahead.
Hear counsel.
Do what?
Hear counsel.
Come on.
And receive instruction.
See, a lot of people don't want to do this. They don't want to hear counsel and receive instruction. I just want to eat, drink, take a poop, and go about my business.
All right.
No, we got to do this because this is part of the lesson. This is part of the hospitality that I have to give. I'm obligated to examine you spiritually and impart wisdom on you to get you out of your estate. Go ahead.
That thou mayest be wise in thy latter end.
See, and going back to Abadiah's question, this is cold because if you feel like you're owed hospitality, well, here it is. This is part of what you should be feeling like you're owed. The wisdom part. Yeah. It can't just be what you think. No. Well, y'all owe me hospitality. Okay, well, cool. We're going to give you food to drink, hot meal, but then guess what? You better be ready for these counsels.
You better for these bars.
You better be ready for these talks and this reproof. You better be ready for this correction. You better be ready for this examination of your life. And while we're here, you're not gonna run from this part. This is the most important part, because then now you get to realize why you're there, what situations got you there, how you get out of there, and then how you now set yourself up to be the giver. How do we get equal? Read on.
Verse 21.
Right?
There are many devices in a man's heart.
Right?
Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord thou shalt stand.
And that's why you're not standing, because the counsel of the Lord is not there with you. So someone has to impart that. Right? Somebody has to give you these counsels that's coming from the Bible. Miss not the discourse of the godly. Right? Go from there. Go to Proverbs 25 and 12.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 25 and verse 12.
Read.
As an earring of gold
Uh-huh.
and an ornament of fine gold,
Go ahead.
so is a wise reprover upon an obedient
See,
ear.
you have to be willing to have an obedient ear.
Hmm.
Right? It says, as an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold. Coming with that one gold hoop. Feeling hot? You feeling real 90s with that one gold hoop? Right? Remember when we all got our ear pierced back in the day? Yeah, that one gold hoop.
Like Jordan?
Like Jordan, baby. It was fake gold. It wasn't fine gold. It was like the fine vending machine gold that you spent $25 and it came in a little capsule. You stuck it in. That thing was gold, and then it was green.
Oh no.
Got wet, and your ear fell off. Keloids. It was dope when it first got put in, right? The Bible is likening the one that has an obedient ear that receives wisdom, like a fine piece of gold earring adorning the ears. It's like jewelry. But you have to have that. You have to be willing to have that obedience in you, as the person that is receiving the hospitality and the person that's giving the hospitality. It says a wise. Read it again. Damn.
As an earring of gold
Uh-huh.
and an ornament of fine gold,
Right.
so is a wise reprover.
So is a what?
A wise reprover.
So this person has to be a wise reprover. It says he that is wise winneth souls, right? But they have to be they gotta know how far to push. They gotta know, okay, when we're dealing with counsel or correction or instruction, there's gotta be a way that I administer this so that there's still a comfortability inside the house. That it's not an awkwardness, that I'm not making them feel awkward, I'm not feeling awkward. Cause they gotta be here. Or whatever, or you borrowed something of mine, or I'm giving you something, right? Well, you return it back in a certain way. Well, how do I reprove this person with wisdom to not offend them? To teach them, to get them to understand what they're supposed to be seeing. It takes skill, it takes tact.
Yeah.
Right? But if I'm frustrated because they're there, I don't want to flip back to the person that's giving the hospitality, but I gotta say that if I'm frustrated, my reproof is not going to be in wisdom. My correction is not going to be in wisdom, it's going to be in frustration. Right? And so it's not going to be like that fine gold, it's going to be like that gold that turns green. It's going to look good, and then when it come out, it's going to be all bad. Right? Next point. Y'all with me so far? Anybody got anything good? No? Okay. Let's see it. The wisdom and talks is hospitality for sure. And that for sure is our duty to impart that wisdom. Right? Got to be done with love. Yep. And that's the point. Next point is walk in discretion and discernment. So this is very important because we do have to remember that in these situations you are dealing in someone else's space that they're opening up to you. But does that mean that you just be any old type of way? Right? Or wrong? Don't you have to have discretion and discernment? Shouldn't you have discretion and discernment in your own house? Right. So if you do it at your own abode, then you're gonna do it wherever you go. It's like I always talk about, I teach my son. I ain't gonna lie, I've been out in that backyard with no shirt on because it's so damn hot. But I teach my sons, like, don't walk around the house with no shirt on. Right? Why do I teach them that at my house? They're in their own home. Now, like Noah, if you want to sit up in his little hot room with no shirt on, that's his room. But as soon as you break the threshold of that door, a shirt better be covering them nipples.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no light skinned nipples in here. We ain't doing it. Why though? Because how would it be, Corey, if he slid to your house and he walking through the house with no shirt on?
Oh, la.
Kylie there, your rib, like, and he's a boy, but still, train up a child, right? it's distasteful, right? Certain habits that we've learned. I grew up no shirt off, no shirt in the crib. Like we grew up like that.
Yeah. Team
No,
no shirt.
Yeah, team no shirt, team shirt off,
Mhm.
right? Team no guns.
No.
Yeah, part of that team.
no, Team guns.
Team guns.
It was
Right.
a gun show when I was
It
a
was
teenager.
Yeah, so, oh, the teenager, yeah, that's different. Yeah, we all had guns, right? You got guns, I got guns too, right? But as we start to see, wait a minute, we interacting with each other. Our kids are going here, they're learning different things, right? Like me, Lakarad, and the other Lashabar, Shaddad, we was talking about just like dealing with the kids and correction. And, you know, one of the things I said was, look, I correct my children because I don't want them to teach your children bad habits. Like, I'm on my children's ass because they're around your kids. I don't want my kids to teach your kids something weird. That's where a lot of my discipline comes in. Like, I don't want it to be, where'd you learn that? Quadazov's kids? Huh? Nah, I don't want, no. So I make sure I be on my kids when I see some funny business, because I don't want them to translate those bad lessons and evil lessons to anybody's kids. Because my kids do what now? They spend the night at people's houses, right? Manasha, he trying to have sleepovers. A warrior, she trying to do the same thing, kinda. She be having like a day over. Night hit, she dipped, right? You know, wait, she stood at your house, right? I don't know. Did she stay? Right.
Wait, no, a warrior?
Yeah.
It was
No,
at
no.
9.
Oh, it was yours? Okay, so she did like a halfway thing. But yeah, you know, but they get into that age now where all the kids are interacting, and what are they gonna do? What's the first thing they're gonna do? They're gonna reproduce the bad things that they see, the bad habits. They're not gonna automatically reproduce the good stuff. So we gotta make sure they see less bad and more good, so they can have better things to replicate, right? So, you know, discernment, discretion, certain mannerisms that you're supposed to have just even in someone's home. That even if you don't have them in your own home, you gotta have them in somebody else's home.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like if at your own house, you're like at a 5, you gotta be like at a 10 at someone else's house.
Yes. You gotta be very aware. Like if you like for instance, if you allow your kids to wear shoes on the couch in your house, cool. But at somebody else's crib, you gotta be like shoes off, right? It's like me, I don't care about shoes in the crib. But when I go to other people's house, hey, you shoes off? First question I ask. I'm getting better now. Right? Shoes in the crib. Corey been on me. Right? My rib been on me. Yeah. And then she cleaned that carpet, it looked like this. So yeah.
Before it was clean?
No, at the water in the carpet was looking crazy.
Oh.
Right? So, you know, what I'm saying is the things that I wouldn't necessarily do at my home, I'm still trying to look and say, wait, let me ask if this person does that in their home so I don't offend. Discretion and discernment, right? So, because I can talk about this all day, go to Ecclesiastes 31 and 12. This is a good articulation of this discretion and discernment. Yeah, I'm living with you. Yeah, I got your vehicle. I'm driving it. I'm borrowing it, right? But I'm about to go get the Whataburger. I'm about to go get the double meat with all the dipping sauces in the whip.
Oh no! Oh
In
no!
the whip. It ain't your whip though. Like, come on, right? If I borrow a brother's car, I'm trying to move in that car like it's glass, right?
I move my own car like it's glass.
But that's the point. Like, you're gonna try to treat somebody else's stuff better than you treat your own.
You know, someone told me this. They're like, I said this to him. I was like, I'll treat it like it's mine. He's like, no, don't treat it like it's yours.
Treat it like it's mine. Don't treat it like it's yours, nigga. Treat it like it's mine. That's the point. Like me, I'll go four-wheeling in my car. I'll run over curbs. I'll do all that. If I tell you the ninja tricks I did the other day coming from the airport, it was wild.
Oh yeah, you Fast and Furious universe.
Bruh.
That's your
I
superpower.
jumped that truck off the curb. It was crazy. I didn't mean to do it, but it happened, right?
You jumping curves?
Yeah, it was crazy how I jumped this curve.
He like doing
I
an
jumped-
ollie. He doing ollies
Bro,
with the car.
I jumped
wow.
off the highway onto the street. It was crazy. I was like, damn, yay, right? Hey, but I wouldn't do that in somebody else's car,
God.
right? I would be a lot more careful, right? Because that's just how you're supposed to move, right? Somebody else's home, right? You got your kids there. Whatever it may be, you're gonna make sure that you corral your children.
Mhm.
Y'all can't do this here because this is not your space. You can't ride bikes in the living room. You can't put your feet on the couch. You can't eat in the living room, right? Like some of y'all. I'm about to get direct real quick. Some of y'all allow your kids to walk around eating everywhere they go,
Oh.
and then when they step into the house, what are they doing? What are they doing? They walking around just dropping little crumbs everywhere, right? And it's like, wait, don't you train your children to sit at a kitchen table and eat at the table only? I train my kids. Like my kids know they cannot move. Only time they eat anywhere other than the kitchen table is like a movie night.
I was thinking that.
That's
Popcorn.
it. Popcorn. You know, we in the couch, we chilling, and we have the popcorn, and that's the only time I allow them to do that. They can't take food into the room. They can't take food nowhere, or if they're going outside, take your fruit outside. But they can't just walk around the house, jump on the couch, food crumbs. After you eat, what's the first thing you do?
Wash your hands.
Wash your greasy ass hands. So you're not on the couch, on the walls. Those are like little small things that if you don't teach your children, and then you just go to somebody's space for 10 minutes, you can offend their space. You could offend their home, right? In 10, 15 minutes of just a visit. So you got to be aware of the things that you sisters, you got to be aware of what you teach your children at your own space, inside of your own home. How you teach your kids how to sit. Like another thing that just grinded me, grinding my gears. Like, do not step on the car seats, yo.
Wait, what? Oh,
I mean,
no.
don't step your feet on the car seats. Now, everybody got their own way of doing things with their car. But remember, you train your kids to step on the car seats with their shoes from the outside on the seats in the car. In your car, they're gonna do that in somebody else's car when they get in.
Dang.
Back seat, front seat. Oh, why'd I do that? Oh, right? And kicking the seat, rubbing their feet on the seat. You know who used to do that all the time?
Who?
Awaria.
Oh.
Right? I used to spaz on her. Like, wait, I go back there and look, and it just be footprints.
But I used to do that too.
And so we have to have some real serious talks. And now she don't do it, right? Because I'm seeing that. Wait, if she's doing this in my own car, if she got to ride with somebody else, and let's say she got like mud on her shoes or something,
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna be literally putting footprints on the car seat. It's like those little pet peeves that are easily worked out. You just got to do it when they're young. When you're dealing with the kids, you got to be aware of what your kids are doing, because that's what it is. It's about awareness with your kids and how you mother or how you father your children, right? And then little things that we do as grown-ups, right? What were we talking about? We were talking about it today. We were talking about like moving through people's houses without kind of letting them know you're gonna move through their house.
Oh yeah. Like a brother used to just run up my stairs.
Without like and I get it, because we're supposed to not be so stringent when it comes to dealing with each other.
Right.
But how many times I've been to your house? A few, right?
times.
How many times I've been upstairs?
A few times.
No. Bro, I only been upstairs one time.
You came down and went back up. That's a few
Bro,
times.
no, listen, that's crazy. In one day? This brother right here is wild, bro. He said I went upstairs a few times.
Going up and then coming down.
No, he's trying to cap. I went upstairs a few times in that day.
Okay.
Yes. I'm talking about, man, come on, bro. You know what I mean. Now think about it.
Just one
Think
time.
about it. But when I went up there, I just slide up there because my rib was up there. Like, my rib was up here, so I got full access. Hey, Corey, you mind if I go upstairs? I did that. Don't, bro, don't do that.
I didn't hear
Bro,
that.
you about to cap.
But you know,
You about to cap. I know what you're saying, but I
If you've
did. I
been
know
there more
I
than
did
one
that.
time,
I still ask brothers to use their restroom, right?
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous.
Okay.
No, I don't. Nah, bro.
I asked, hey, you mind if I use your restroom? Come, go ahead. What if he say no?
Hey, you go outside.
Well, what if he say no because it's broke, but I didn't ask and I went and flushed it and flooded the crib?
Oh.
See what I'm saying? Like,
Uh.
it's just manners.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just discretion and discernment. That's it. Right? I've been to your house a handful of times. Listen, I've known this brother for years. I've been upstairs in his house only when necessary. The last time I went upstairs in your house with me and my pops was looking at your
balcony.
this balcony. Before that, I can't tell you when. Cause I don't make it a habit to just go through people's houses.
Right.
If I'm coming to visit, I'm visiting you in the common space.
Right.
We're in the common space. I don't need to be all up in the bedrooms like that thing. That right there is one of the things that pisses me off highly. I had a situation a couple of weeks ago, right? And then there was other situations. I'm like, yo, how can you just move through a person's house without any
Discretion.
without any discretion, without any acknowledgement that I'm moving through your house, right? And so there has to be that. Read where we at. This brother trying to cap.
Yeah, it's
Damn, this brother trying to put me out there like I don't be asking.
Nah, you good.
nah. It's like like same thing. I've never just go up anybody up the stairs at like Rob house.
Right,
House.
even Locker Rob house. I would just slide upstairs because he's up there. I'd be like, hey, Martha Nine, where's Locker Rob? She's like, he's upstairs. I'm like, can I go upstairs to get him?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like unless I'm invited.
And then I'm yelling,
Or I
hey,
ask.
bro, what you doing? But you don't make it this habit to just move around if you're on a visit, if you're hanging out. Now, it's different now if now you got to live at a person's house. You still got to have certain discretions on you just going to slide into their bedroom. That's
Hell.
weird as hell.
Hell
Because
no.
because you know what's cold? The person that's allowing you to stay with them, the room they gave you is kind of now off limits to them.
Con.
That's the thing. Who used to live with me? Ivy,
Oh yes.
right? Ivy, she stayed with me for a little time. Now, her room was kind of in the back by the laundry. So, but that's the only time I ever went back there was and that used to be the kids' room, right? But I wasn't like popping up back there like, hey, what you got going on? Nah, I'm like not going back there because that's her space. I'm only back there for laundry, and even then, I'm like, babe, go get the laundry. Babe, go get the laundry. I'm not going over there, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to seem like something, and it's discernment and discretion. Read this real quick. We're running out of time. Read it. Ecclesiasticus.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 31, verse
I don't
12.
want to part 3 this. Go ahead.
And thou sit at a bountiful table.
Go ahead.
Be not greedy upon it.
Well, I moved in and they got a bunch of food in the fridge and it's all mine now. No, it ain't. That's their food. That's theirs, or at least ask. You mind if I use the milk? You mind if this? You mind if that? Go ahead.
And say not, there is much meat on it.
Well, their fridge is full, so I'm, go ahead.
Verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that a wicked eye is an evil thing,
Right.
and what is created more wicked than an eye?
Go ahead.
Therefore it weepeth upon every occasion.
It do what?
It weepeth upon every
Yeah,
occasion.
man. You're going to weep on every occasion. You're going to want on every occasion. But you have to discern to not want on every occasion, not to let your eye lead you, your belly lead you, and let the spirit lead. Go ahead.
Verse 14.
Right?
Stretch not thine hand whithersoever it looketh.
See that? Stretch not your hand everywhere your eyes look. Don't let your feet take you everywhere your eyes is looking. You don't belong in that part of the home, or you don't belong looking through this. You borrow somebody's car, you going through the glove compartment, going through the armrest, you looking all through the trunk. Nah, hell no, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But you'll be surprised. It's like remember the big thing, like you go in somebody's bathroom and you look through the medicine cabinet? Y'all remember that Seinfeld episode?
Somebody.
Because that was a thing. People would literally go in your bathroom and start going through your medicine cabinets. Because, back then you kept medicine in the cabinet. Damn, this nigga is on bipolar medicine? Wow. That was your personal stuff. Like going through your medicine cabinets was like a no-no.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what chicks did.
Huh?
Women, they over they man house and they want to see
Slide-
what's going
they
on.
sliding through things like, nah. There should be boundaries, right? Go ahead, read on.
And thrust it not with him into the dish.
Right?
Judge of thy neighbor by thyself.
So when it says judge of thy neighbor by thyself, meaning how do you think that they would want to be treated? Judge of your neighbor by thyself. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Right? The same thing you want done to you, do it to someone else. Go ahead.
And be discreet.
Be what?
And be discreet.
Come on.
At every point.
At every point, not just when it's time to eat a feast of this, but have discretion in the home that you have to. I'm gonna say it like this: have discretion in the thing that you're invading of that person's, whether it be their home, whether it be their vehicle, whether it be their time, whether it be their counsel, whatever it is. Have discretion when you're using it. Go ahead.
Verse 16. Eat as it becometh a man.
Right.
Those things which are set before thee.
Right. Deal with what's in front of you. Right. Go ahead.
And devour not. Lest thou be hated.
And we know the context of this is talking about actual eating, feast, this, that, and the third, but just in the overall context, it's just showing you how a person should move when they're in these spaces. Go ahead. Go to Proverbs. You read on Proverbs 25 and verse 6. Go ahead.
Verse 17.
Right?
Leave off first for manners.
Do what?
Leave off first for manners.
It says have manners. Have some manners. Like when your kids at the table talking crazy, tell them to stop talking crazy. Like, I ain't gonna front, my kids do it. They be at the table and they want to talk about farts. And I'm like, yo, stop talking about farts at the table. Just don't, that's not good manners. You don't talk about stuff like that. It's a little kid thing. They just be weird, bro. But then it's like, who else you here talking about farts at the table? Right? And again, when they go to one of y'all's houses, I don't want my kids to be talking about farts at all. At the table, not at the table. I don't that's not a conversation I want them to have, but they kids, right? Mm-hmm. So they gonna do weird things, and I'll say what my kids do because I ain't got nothing to hide. I'm not gonna lie. They ain't perfect. They kids, right? But they gotta learn manners. All of us gotta learn manners, right? You gotta read the room and know, damn, I gotta have manners. Like you go to certain restaurants and you can't just be there leg cocked up burping and farting at the damn table at the chair because you at a 5-star restaurant, right?
Yeah.
You at a 5-star, they pouring wine overhand pour, they doing, you know what I'm saying? He got the white cloth and the gloves and he pushing the cart with all the food. And anybody ever been to a restaurant like that? Where they push the meat raw to you before you. That's like $100 steak right there. Yeah, those are steakhouses, but you still move a certain way because there's certain type of people around. It's about discretion. Go ahead.
Leave off first for manners' sake.
Right.
And be not
unsatiable.
Unsatiable.
Meaning you can't be satisfied. Go ahead.
Lest thou offend.
Lest thou what?
Lest thou offend.
Come on.
When thou sittest among many. When thou sittest among many, reach not thine hand out first.
Right.
All.
Even that. Fall back a little bit and let the person that has been given hospitality, let them partake first. Let them deal with what they got to deal. Don't always need.
Or let them offer.
Or let them. Next proverb. Go to Proverbs 25 and 6. Watch. Perfect that he said it. Read.
Look up Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 6.
Right.
Put not forth thyself in the presence of the king.
Right.
And stand not in the place of great men.
Right. Don't put yourself forth. Don't thrust yourself into the situation. Have it offered to you. Read, it's going to tell us. But it's using this common man, king, and nobles to show you something. That don't put yourself in a place that you don't belong. Right? But it's giving you in the way of a king. Go ahead.
For better it is that it be said unto thee,
right?
Come up hither.
See, it's better for you to be offered to come up and sit with the king. It's better for you to be offered the thing than for you to always put yourself in the need of the thing. Y'all see that? Read.
Then that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence
Because
of the
then
prince.
because the check comes like, nah, and you getting checked in front of everybody. It's better to be offered than to always be trying to grab at something, right?
Yeah, and you don't put yourself in a position to be offered by, whoa, that look good. That, man, what is that? Is it tasty? Like, you all up on their food, on their plate, or whatever they got. And it's like, you want some? Like I wasn't planning on offering, but you all on my back. Do you want some?
Yo, watch this. Another thing, just on that point, another thing y'all gotta do, or you gotta stop letting your kids do, and I've been noticing this with the kids during Sabbath meal. When everybody's eating food and the kids is moving around, you gotta teach your kids to have you gotta teach your kids that when someone's eating, they don't hover around their food or try to speak to them while they're eating, because they're at table height. And when they start talking,
Oh yeah, Lord knows what's coming.
it's like all of a sudden they want to start playing and this and that, and the person's trying to eat. And so, like, whenever I see that with my kids, I'm like, hey, go sit down. Get away from the person. Because I even do it, like, if I'm sitting here eating and Monashar or Warrior slide up and they just do this, and Drew, I'm like, okay. I'm like, you want some? No, well, you're not gonna just stand here and watch me eat. That's crazy.
Like
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the dogs be doing, like, just sitting.
Oh
Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, go find a space to go be at. Get some discretion and discernment. And remember, they're kids, but they're only gonna do either what they see, they're only gonna do what we allow, right? So you gotta teach them that when people are eating, that's not the time to play and talk around their food and do all that, because some brothers ain't gonna really. I'm gonna check the damn kids and tell them, get the hell out the damn plate and go sit down. I do it to my kids, I do it to y'all's kids. Some brothers ain't gonna do that because they don't want to offend y'all. They don't want to offend you, your kids, your house. I don't look at it as offensive, right? Because hey, just go sit down. They're eating, but y'all gotta be able to tell y'all. So what am I saying? Pay attention to the way your kids do things in different situations. I notice it because that's a situation that happens often, right? Where the kids want to just stand there and look at people eat, or try to play when a grown man is trying to eat, especially when a grown man is trying to eat. Yo, man, you just want to, bow! Bro, I'm eating, right? I don't want to be messed with when I'm eating. I don't want to laugh, joke. I don't want to do none of that. I just want to eat.
I remember you used to walk outside and eat.
Yeah, because I don't want to be talked to. I don't want nobody talking to me while I'm eating. I don't want nobody standing trying to talk, counsel. Let me eat real quick and then we can talk. Right? I eat fast. I'm quick. Right? I'm fat. 2 minutes. Boom. I'll slop it all down. Next. Give me my 2 minutes. That's all.
God, you eat fast.
I just need 2 minutes, right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 32:7. This is another part of discretion. This is another part of discretion. Knowing when and how often to speak. And that you got to read the room again, right? If you're sharing somebody else's space, you got to kind of know, like, okay, they like in chill mode, or they trying to relax a little bit. It might not be the time for you to unload or offload or have deep conversation, right? It's not always the time. But read it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 32 and verse 7.
Right?
Speak, young man, and there be need of thee.
Right. If there be need of thee, speak. Read.
And yet scarcely when thou art twice asked.
See, another thing, like, you twice asked, and you still got to be scarce. But some of you ain't got to be asked at all. It's like, and then guess what the kids do? The kids do it too, and they don't know how to shut that off and to understand that now ain't the time to spill their whole mind. It says scarcely if twice asked, right? So there has to be this discernment on how we deal with one another. It might not be the time to have a conversation. But if I'm Cause I might be in a mode, but I'm like, hey, what's going on? And you might say, oh, I'm chilling. And I'm like, hey, no, what's up? Let's talk. And you're like, you look like you busy. No, I'm good. What's up?
Yeah.
See? Twice if what does it say? And scarcely if twice asked. Right? Be invited to the convo sometimes. Don't always invite the convo. Ecclesiasticus 3:7. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 7.
Right?
He that feareth the Lord with honor. What?
Ecclesiastes 3:7. Slide. In the Bible. Ecclesiastes 3:7. Read.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 7. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silent.
A time to what?
A time to keep silent.
Yo, it's a time. Yo, it's quiet time right now.
A time to keep silent.
Go ahead.
And a time to speak.
But you gotta know the time sometimes. All the time. You gotta know, like, when you're around, when you get around everybody, what is the time? What is the mode? Right? It's not always a time to be silent, but it's not always a time to speak. We don't always gotta talk. We don't always gotta be silent. We can have balance. We can just chill. You know what? It's time to listen to some music. You know what? It's time to counsel. It's time to read the Bible. It's time to just chill. Time to sleep. Time for that. You gotta know the time. And lastly, last point, last scripture. Don't take advantage. Meaning, don't outwear your welcome. You know, these situations, hospitality is what it is, something that you give to a person that's in need of it. But remember, if you're always in need of the same things over and over, then you have to ask yourself, what are you really learning? Don't outwear your welcome, right? Go ahead real quick. Go to Proverbs. Because I'm going here with this because we've been in situations where we've offered hospitality to brothers and sisters. I've seen a brother live with a brother for 8 years and not even drop a rent check. Yeah, not even consider paying a bill. Seen it. Right? So, and it was supposed to be just move in temporary. You on the temporary tip, I'll be out in 6 months. And then 6 months turns into, now y'all gotta get, now y'all gotta get a bigger crib. You know what I mean? Like Rob had a situation. Brother was supposed to move in for a weekend. That brother ended up staying for what, 2 years? A year? What was it? 2 years. Brother had a kid on the couch. What? Crazy. Twins on the couch. Huh? Right. He had the twins on the couch, but he went from him living there by himself to in that year having a whole family and children. Yeah. It was only supposed to be for the weekend. You know what I'm saying? But he overstayed because the overstay happens because you get comfortable with the situation, not understanding. You're not supposed to be comfortable in the situation. You're not supposed to be comfortable unless you contract with that person that, hey, I don't mind, you can live with me as long as you want, you can borrow this as long as you want, you can do this. As long as y'all talk about it and it's on that level, cool. But if it's like, hey, I'm down bad, 2, 3 weeks, 2, 3 months, whatever. Or until I get my own thing going. But then are you looking to get your own thing going for real, or are you just comfortable? Yeah. Did you just say, you know what? What's easier? Stay here or look for my own thing? Push myself or just do it's a mind state, right? It's a mind state. Proverbs 25:16, and we out of here. Read.
Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 16.
Right.
Hast thou found honey?
Right.
Eat so much as is sufficient for thee.
So what is it showing us about a moderation? Eat what's needed. Take what's needed. Read.
Lest thou be filled therewith and vomit it.
Yeah, and you're not going to benefit. You're going to fill up, vomit it out, and then the honey is out your stomach. It didn't benefit you.
Done.
Read.
Verse 17. Withdraw thy foot from thy neighbor's house,
Damn. Go ahead.
lest he be weary of thee.
At least what?
Lest he be weary of thee,
Go ahead.
and so hate thee.
Yeah, you gotta know when to withdraw. You gotta know when it's time for you to push out and do your own thing. You gotta know when it's time for you. You got again, it's about looking at that person's situation, right? And saying, okay, they got this going on. I got this going on. I'm here, or I'm doing this, or I'm using this because my situation was bad. They're allowing me, but damn, this situation is about to get worse because I'm occupying a space or whatever it may be. Discernment, discretion, equality. If you're looking at the equality of it, you're saying, how can I make sure that they're equal also in the situation? And sometimes it's about withdrawing, right? But again, like I said, if you talk to the person that's giving you the hospitality on any level, and you've talked about no certain cutoff point, right? And you guys have discussed, hey, it don't matter, it's all good as long as you need. It still don't mean that you don't push yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that that's the okay to just not put, because what is the most important part of this class? In y'all's opinion, what's the most important scripture I went to? I want to see who gets it. There's one pivotal scripture. I didn't really go hard on it. There's one scripture. Pivotal, what?
I would say it would be the 2 Corinthians 8. What is it? 8
Yep,
and 12?
8:12.
Mm-hmm.
Not that other man be eased and that you be burdened, but an equality. If your mind is not set on the equality, then you're not going to know when it's time. You're not going to have the discretion. You're not going to have the discernment. You're not going to receive the hospitality the proper way. None of this class is going to apply to you. So your mind has to be on the equality of it, right? That right now they're at a disease because of my disease, but then they making me whole. And then I'm supposed to do that later on when I have the chance. But you have to be putting yourself in a situation to have the chance. You can't say, well, I ain't got the chance, but you like, you know what, I'm just comfortable on the couch. Y'all get what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's here, it's a mind. That's the whole point of this class is equality. Where do we find the common ground of this hospitality thing where, again, we're expected to give it, people are expected, they're gonna take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're expected to give it, it's gonna be taken, but then what is the other expectations after? So hopefully y'all got that. Yeah, hopefully y'all got that. That's the last scripture, that's the end of the class, that's no part 3, right? Hopefully everybody online, y'all understood. What I would die say, manners should be exercised by adults and kids as well. Yeah, I mean, kids get their manners from the adults. Wisdom and talks is hospitality for sure. Yep. So, hopefully y'all got a little something. If you didn't watch the first one, go back and watch it. And link it up with this one. Go Yankees, 7-1. I'm guessing, what's today's date? 25th. We're probably gonna be live. We're probably gonna be live here on Saturday because the brothers is gonna be for Sabbath class, but the brothers is gonna be at the summit. I'm broke and injured, so I ain't gonna make it. More broke than injured. It's about the same. Yeah, it's equally broke, equally injured. So yeah, so we're gonna be at the summit. So we're gonna be here holding it down for class Saturday. So, Don?
All right.
All right. So with that, we're gonna say shalom.
Shalom.
Imagine we're shalom.